Hello friends, this is Gaurav from Go for E-Learning. In this video, I am going to discuss about control statements that control the order of execution in a Java program based on the data values and conditional logics. As we know, in general, every program execution can be done from top to bottom in a sequential order. But if we use control statements, then we can change program execution order depending on logics and values. That means we can skip some line of code and we can iterate same line of codes based on our requirements. We can say simply the control statements in Java are useful to control the program flow. We can see in figure there are different type of control statements in Java such as selection statement, iteration statement, we can say loop and jump statements. What are the selection statements? If else and switch case are selection statements. What are iteration statements? While loop, do while loop and for loop are the iteration statements. And about jump statements, we have break statement, continue statement and return statements. So we will discuss in detail about each and every control statement one by one in my videos. So let's start discussion about first if and if else statement. This statement is used to perform a task depending on whether a given condition is true or false. There are different ways to write if-else statement, like we can write only if statement or if-else statement, or we can write nested if statement. Also, we can write like if-else if ladder type statement. So these are the ways we can write if-else statement. First, we will discuss about if statement. How to write if statement? This statement executes the if block if condition is true, and if condition is false, it will start execution after the if block. So the basic syntax of if statement is like this. In this statement, first is if keyword, and after that inside the brackets we are checking the condition. If condition is true, it will execute the code which is written inside the curly braces. So this is about the if statement. Now we can see this Java example shows how to use if statement in Java program. First, I have this class with name if, and inside the class we need to write main function, that is entry point of the code. And after that we can initialize the number variable which is equal to 30. After initialization, let's implement the if statement here. First, we would write condition check, that is number variable greater than 25. Here, condition is a comparison operator which creates Boolean result, either true or false. So we are basically checking number variable is greater than 25 or not. If yes, then this condition is true and want to just print out system.out.print statement, and we will say that the number is greater than 25. This statement is written inside these curly braces. We can write more than one statement inside these curly braces also. If we compile and run the program, output would be number is greater than 25, which means that this condition is true because here number value which is replaced by 30 is really greater than 25. Hence, statement written inside the if condition will be followed and number is greater than 25 statement is executed. What will happen if this condition is not satisfied? Then nothing will be displayed on the screen. The statement number is greater than 25 which is written inside these braces will not be executed. So this is all about the if statement. Next we'll discuss about if else statement. In this statement, it executes the if block if condition is true, otherwise else block is executed. Basic syntax of if else statement is like this. In this syntax, after the if statement, there is an statement called else statement, which executes when if condition is not true. Here, if-else statement is used to execute either of the two conditions based upon certain conditions. So this is the example which shows how to use if-else statement in Java program. Here we change number variable value to 20. In earlier program it was 30. Now we are changing the value to 20. And we will check if number is greater than 25 or not. If condition is true, statement 1, that is number is greater than 25, will be executed. Else statement 2, that is number is smaller than 25, will be executed. Once we compile and run the program, output would be number is smaller than 25, which means that if condition is false, because number value which is replaced by 20 is smaller than 25, hence statement written inside the else condition will be followed and number is smaller than 25 statement is executed. So after if else statement, now we will talk about if else if later type statements. Means if else if later statement executes one condition from multiple statements. Basic syntax of if else if statement is like this. In this syntax, if statement can be followed by an optional else if and then else statement, which is very useful to test various conditions using single if else if statements. So first it will check the first condition. It will execute the code if condition 1 is true, that is inside if statement. If this is not true, it will go to else if condition. It will execute this condition code if condition 2 is true, otherwise it will check the condition 3, and if condition 3 is also not true, then it goes to the else part. That code to be executed if all the conditions which is written earlier are false. Here is a flowchart that is showing if else if code flow. If condition 1 is true, statement 1 will be executed, otherwise flow will go to else if condition. In else if condition we are having condition 2. If this condition is true, statement 2 is executed and so on. If no condition is true, then else statement will be executed. So let's see this Java example which shows how to use if else if statement in Java program. In this example, there is an variable marks and it is initialized to 82, and here if else if statement is used to execute multiple of actions based upon multiple conditions. First, if condition is validating whether it is true or false. So here if marks are less than 50, system will print fail. If marks are between 50 to 60, then it will go to else if condition and it will print the B grade. And if this condition also not satisfied, then it will go to another else if condition and it will check whether which condition will satisfied and it is lying in which condition. Suppose if all if and else if condition are not satisfied, are not true, then it goes to the else condition where it will simply print invalid, means marks are invalid. So if we compile and run the program, output would be A grade, which means that else if condition is true, which is having marks value between greater than or equal to 80 and less than or equal to 90, because marks value is 82, which satisfied this else if condition. Hence the statement written inside this else if condition will be followed and A grade statement is executed. So this is all about the detail of if else selection type control statements. In my next video, I am going to talk about other type of control statements that are useful to have a strong understanding in Java programming language. Thank you.